chair professor get all dressed up for this occasion, right? The topic of my video, mediate, arbitrate. Mediate meaning intervene between people in a dispute in order to bring about an agreement or reconciliation. The definition of arbitrate: of an independent person or body, reach an authoritative judgment or settlement, right? So, yesterday afternoon, in my entire Uber career, right, referring, driving, building out fleets, etc., I probably had more than an hour discussion with one of the top attorneys at Uber, probably the most senior person that I have spoken to up to this very day. And let me tell you, the conversation went well. It went very, very well. I'll go into the details. But what I did tell this attorney is that I sit on thousands and thousands of letters, thousands of text messages, many, many voice recordings. The one I'm going to play to you right now. Why don't we play it right now?
A few months that I've been doing it, I've already accumulated between both ride shares over 5,000 rides. I think that's pretty good, considering that I drive a school bus.
Drives a school bus
So
and
I
works
do
at night.
this on the side, like they say, as a side hustle. And I just wanted to thank you for sharing your wisdom on YouTube. I'm a faithful follower of yours, and I am totally behind you, sir. Not 100%, 110%. We definitely have to fight these giants, Uber and Lyft. These people are pushing us around and getting away with so much. I'll give you a perfect example briefly, and I know you've heard this and you experienced this. A little while ago, my acceptance rating with Lyft was at 97%, and they keep sending me 15 minutes away a couple of towns over. And, you know, it's what the pros call quote unquote gas burning trip. And it's frustrating. And, you know, you know, it's not their car, you know, it's not just wasting gas, it's time consuming, it's wear and tear on the vehicle. And, you know, they hold it against you, obviously, you know, because you're a pro. And it went from 97% to 90%. And it's just, the list goes on and on, as well as you know, sir. I just wanted to tell you that, you know, I am behind you, not 100%, 110%. And man, I am willing to take a plane over to take a flight over to California where you are, and any matter, I would take time off to help, to voice my opinion in front of a jury at a court to fight these giants. It is close to impossible, but anything with God is possible. I always remember the story in the Bible of David and Goliath, and we're the Davids, and they're the Goliaths over and left. God bless you, sir. I wish you many healthy years full of love, peace, and happiness. And I hope to one day meet you in person and give you a strong hug. Good night, sir. And again, thank you so much for what you do. I hope that,
I think that recording pretty much sums up the affairs of drivers around the country, Your Honor. And along with that recording, I would like to admit hundreds and hundreds of letters from my subscribers, hundreds and hundreds of screenshots of text messages in this file that I'm about to present to the court. Now, that's my introduction. And then obviously we get to business, right? And let me tell you what happened yesterday, and it's very, very important. Firstly, the attorney to this. I'm not going to give you my, well, you have my phone number, but I don't want you to publicize my phone number. And then the paralegal that we assigned to this case, would you be kind enough, in the spirit of arbitration, mediation, trying to reach a settlement before Friday with me, Torsten Kunert, would you be kind enough to remove those videos on the lady? And my reply was to the gentleman, I said, I'll take those videos down for now. I will not deactivate them, but they will not be public, right? So we should use the next 48 hours to talk to one another in the same tone that we spoke to yesterday. Now, the one thing which I appreciate, he really, really allowed me. Doesn't mean he's going to take what I said and convert it or hand it over to Derek A. But this is a senior guy, my friends, and I'm not joking when I say this is a senior guy, right? But when I conveyed to him all the ways that Uber is out of touch with the drivers, he was really listening, right? And then in the middle of the conversation, I said to the gentleman, do you know what your stock price is today, sir? And there was no reply, and he said, no, I don't know. I said, precisely. You don't know so many things. You're so out of touch with this company. You're so out of tune with the outside world, which is the driver, that you don't know that your stock price is at its lowest since the IPO. In fact, it went even lower today to 27, right? And he goes like, oh, okay. So we spoke, and I told him that, recordings, letters, grievances, aggravations, frustrations, anger will be shared with the courts. In my first small case on Friday, and then on my big case in Superior Court. So he wanted more information from me as far as the numbers go for my big court case against them. And I said I would only negotiate case 1 and case 2 as one combined settlement. We have one shot at it before Friday. This is how I operate, right? My strength, my muscle is marketing. Engaging press release companies, getting press releases out to hundreds and thousands of newspaper editors, circulating messages through social media, calling upon YouTubers, and then using my 8 platforms. This is the main platform to amplify my voice, your voice, right? So the reason I sit before my family, my subscribers today in this suit is purely out of respect to the gentleman, because this is how I would show up in court. This is how I would speak. This is how I would make my argument. Now, obviously, I'm not going to put all my cards on the table, right? I'm not going to reveal all my aces, right, in a lawsuit. But I can tell you what, that I truly feel that I broke through to this guy yesterday. I truly feel he had an ear, right? He was plugged in to what I was saying. And To this attorney, I'm not going to mention your name. I've frozen the other video on the lady out of respect because she said she felt threatened. So this paralegal who will one day go out into the big wide world, she said she felt threatened by my emails. Okay, so at that point, I said to this attorney, let's address threats. Okay, real threats. Because when you feel threatened about a video on YouTube, let's be honest, it's your ego, right? It's your image as an attorney that feels threatened. And I have done that very, very successfully. I would ask this attorney to reach out to attorney Peggy Jovel, to attorney Matthew Bogosian, to attorney Lisa Schultz, who in previous cases that I have fought and won, right, try to engage with me, try to, let's put it this way, not be nice. Even to a point where one of these three, Matthew Bogosian, sued me as an attorney because he just could not handle me. Now, I'm a different animal. I will draw you into the lion's den, right? And the lion's den has 3 million drivers, and then good luck getting out of the lion's den, right? And the fact, here's the number one fact, that this attorney acknowledged, we are watching your YouTube channel. You are upset. Okay, say no more. I made an announcement hammering Dara Kay and Logan Green about the handling of the coronavirus. In fact, there was no handling. They had not sent any single message out. And a few hours later, a message went out. When Uber 2 days ago said they would think about creating a fund and maybe set aside monies for the coronavirus to help drivers, there were no certainties. That was after a senator put a lot of pressure on Uber. They didn't commit to anything. I came out with a video, I hammered them over the head. And the very next morning, there were headlines stating they're creating a fund. They will support this cause. Now, I'm not saying that comes from my 2 videos. I'm definitely not saying that. But the fact is, what I'm telling every YouTuber today, what I'm telling Sammy, Joey, Dustin, Robert, Scott, every single YouTuber today, that Uber has its army of attorneys, has its people watching all these channels, reading all the messages, right? That was made, I was made very, very clear of yesterday in this conversation with this bigwig, right? He says, we watch you, we hear you, you are upset. So I said to him, you're damn right, I'm upset. So we get into the conversation. But not to go away from threats. I want to go back to threats briefly. This lady felt threatened through my online presence, you know, maybe because I semi drew her in to the lion's den. That's how I fight the fight. I have a very, very unconventional way. You can look me up. I beat McDonald's Incorporated in court. I beat Time Warner in court. And I have a 0 loss record in small claims court, right? And several other cases as well. I may have lost 1 case along the way, but that was more where both sides agreed to withdraw their case. So nobody won. But I don't have any losses. I pick my attorneys well, and I really go out and research the subject matter. I've spent years and years in court libraries reading cases, right? Teaching myself how attorneys, with the help of paying paralegals to teach me what they know. That's how I learned all the ins and outs of the legal world. And many motions, many requests for admissions, many interrogatories, many depositions, I have filed myself. I've drawn up my own papers, and I've had many, many victories. So when I said to this attorney, he needs to reach out to Peggy Jovel, Matthew Bogosian, Lisa Schultz, attorneys that try to take me on in several cases. Go and interview them and let them tell you what happens when you deal with me, Torsten Kunert, right? They will give you a crystal clear picture of what you, Uber, are in for. Say no more. I bring the fight to you, right? I do not go into defense. I go into full offense, and I believe in the strategy death by 1,000 cuts, right? It doesn't mean death, physically kill the person, but you win the case by 1,000 cuts. You cut, you cut, you cut, you cut, you cut, you cut, you wear them out, right? And I do that well. In fact, one of these 3 attorneys that I just mentioned was brought up to the State Bar of California because I filed for disbarment of one of those attorneys, right? Just putting that out there. So we have a window. They requested I send all these documents up to Northern California. I overnighted them. They would review them today. Tomorrow we would get on the phone. Wednesday, I mean, I could bring them in on a live feed, but I think that would be overstepping my boundaries. And tomorrow, I want a resolution. I want a fair mediation. I want a fair arbitration. I want to have a letter of intent from you, a settle amount, and then I will not drag you into court on Friday, and I will not humiliate your company in superior court, right? So when it comes to threats, this lady, I'm going to repeat again, she felt very, very threatened by my YouTube presence and by the videos that I made, and the fact that I had outed their 415 number. It's how I play the game, right? And then I said to him, let me tell you about real threats. Real threats are the following. And I don't know, Dustin was here briefly. I don't know if Dustin can relate to the story. Somewhere in 2019, Uber decided to change the game on referrals. And you may be very well aware of this, but they changed the referral formula to a guarantee formula. And it was very, very misleading language where the new driver was thinking, Dustin, listen in on this one, my friend, please. I think this will really, and it's good that I know that Uber is watching the video, so it's good to see that they see that another massive, massive YouTuber is in the house, right? But what happened is that they changed the game on referrals and switched it to a guarantee, meaning that the individual had to go out, they hustle 100 trips, thinking they were getting 500, thinking they were getting 300, thinking they were getting $50, thinking that they were getting $700 or $1,000, depending on the city. And then they got maybe $20, $30. And then they would turn around to me and say, WTF, why did I get $30? I was promised $700. Well, in the fine print, this is, the bomb that Uber unloaded on all of these drivers. It said, well, we will guarantee you that amount after 100 trips. So let's say somebody made $650, they would pay the difference of $50. So the guy got $50 instead of $700. Now, the anger came my way. They would call me up in the morning. They would call up at 3 a.m. They would call up for fire and pay me, motherfucker. I'll kill you. I want my fucking money. Threat after threat after threat. In fact, a week ago, you saw a guy here who said he was going to kick in my head. By the way, I've already taken action on that guy. I don't play around with those type of messages. I go after you, right? So I will not tolerate any of those type of messages and threats in my channel. But these were threats over the phone. These were threats, text message that I've kept. And I said, listen, the courts will see this, right? And if that's negligence or intentional or unintentional infliction of emotional distress, which is a legal tort in the legal world, right? I will collect a lot of punitive damages based on the many threats that I've received because of your mismanagement, because of the way you have misled drivers, new drivers in particular. And I don't think it's going to be difficult to make that case to a live jury, saying they switched the game and chaos broke out. People thought they were getting the money. They were not getting the money. Threats followed. Death threats followed. So I don't know what is higher. The paralegals feeling threatened that a video was made about them, no harm was ever spoken out, or real life, death threats, text messages, etc. to my name. But now, those people who made the threats don't know who they're dealing with. And I'm not going to go into that part, right? I'm not a guy, sure, I go to the police, I record the threat and that, but I act on the threat. I'm not going to sit idly by and let someone threaten my family, threaten my children, call me, bombard me with calls every single night from multiple people, and on and on and on, terrorizing me. And that's what I said to this attorney yesterday. That's what I regard as real threats. And the judge, Your Honor, let's show the court these threats. Okay, so I don't want to harp too long on that threat conversation. I just want to put threats into perspective for this attorney because I know he is listening in. And when you review my documents, again, out of respect, I'm not going to say your name, understand that my damages are one amount, and I believe, based on what I have, that the courts would give me ultra high punitive damages to make a very strong point. We will not tolerate this. Now, there are colleagues of mine who have way more referrals than I can ever dream of, right? And they're all lawyering up, they're all wising up because they want to get paid. So I said to this attorney, look, maybe this also goes for Dustin, I don't know. Maybe this goes for Geo and many of the other YouTubers that have brought thousands and thousands and thousands of drivers to the companies. Now, we all go out and work our own way. I got to work with my strengths, right? I didn't go out to my master's in business and my master's in psychology for nothing. I want to use my marketing techniques and make marketing dollars, right? And I see the results. I want to go out there and build a business and build multiple partnerships with fleet owners. Everyone has an approach. If your approach is going out there, buying a Honda Civic, buying a Toyota Camry, getting into X, I support you 100%. Go out there, put in the hours, make the money, right? But you can't come to me with this attorney privilege. And I know attorneys really live in the ego, live in the image. And if you start pricking that ego and that image, they go wild, they go crazy, right? We may not have had the wealthy parents that paid for a legal college tuition or all the university fees, and had parents that could put children through legal school, Harvard, etc. I'm just asking your true hardships on your way to getting your attorney degree. Maybe worst case scenario, you're out there studying in a cold library for hours and hours and hours, right? Or you're burning the midnight oil getting prepared for your examination or your board, your board license. You're trying to put in the hours and get, all your certifications, etc. So, if you want to talk a hard life to me, let's talk the language of drivers that are out there on the street that may not have had access to those tuition fees, that may not have wealthy parents that could put them through great university and colleges, but they're out there with their car, burning the gas, working 10, 12 hours a day in, day out to pay their bills, right? And you will see that 99% of my videos, I dress and do videos as the driver. I'm in jeans, I'm in t-shirt. Even my billionaire clients or clients that have hundreds of millions of dollars, right? I drive them in jeans and t-shirt, right? I am not going to dress up for you. I'll give you the very, very best service you've ever gotten. But on very, very rare occasions, maybe at the Grammys, maybe at the Oscars, you will see me dressed up like this. You will see me dressed up like this in court. You will see me dressed up like this if I'm going to business meetings. But otherwise, 95% of the time, I am in t-shirt and jeans. I'm one of the guys. I do the driving, I show up as a father, etc. But I go out there and do my hustle. Everyone has their hustle and the attorneys have their hustle. So I will not be spoken down by any attorney. I've already introduced you to how I fight the fight. I fight it through social media. I go after all your weak points, those being AB5, those being your CEOs, those being the coronavirus, etc., etc. And then when I know that I've hit your nerve, I will hammer you, right? So 2020, my friends, is not over. We are just starting with protests. We just started with, the under 4 we ignore, at 5 we drive. We are wisening up, we are smartening up, and we are using what we know how to do, and that is engage in a street battle, right? Using our street smarts. You can come with every damn Harvard or Yale degree. Most often, it's the people with the contacts and the street smarts that win the battle. Most often, the David has no problem taking on the Goliath. So Uber, let it be known, I'm not afraid of your company. I'm not afraid of your threats. I'm not afraid of your attorneys. Here I am. I am live streaming in the spirit of mediation and arbitration. You may say like, well, that's the weirdest mediation and arbitration thing I've ever seen. No, it's not, because in this come 1 hour video, there are going to be so many messages, so many subtle strategies and hints of how I fight the fight, right? Whether I go to the press releases like PR Web, e-releases, whether I engage all the online newspaper editors, you got to know when to strike. The Cobra knows when to strike, right? But I have drawn them into the battle. I know that. And I'm very, very happy that this attorney said, we know of you, we know of your channel, and we know you're upset. So let's start there, right? When Travis Kalanick had a driver in San Francisco, I believe it was a black or an SUV, and he started trash talking this driver. This driver had a dash cam, and he exposed to the world, it went viral, what Travis Kalanick said to him. It was a PR media disaster for the company. Guess what? To shut the media up, to slow the toxic media machine down, immediately came out and settled with this driver and gave him the money back for the cars that he had invested. Yes, Travis Kalanick personally paid out this guy to minimize their own media damages. Ladies and gentlemen at Uber listening in, we haven't even started our media campaign against you. We're just warming up, right? We now know, which you've revealed, we have your attention, and that's great. You're on the stage with us. Yeah? And in fact, I actually told them to watch this video today. So we may or may not, I believe we have several people at Uber listening in, and we welcome you. So if you want to hear about the real stories on the street, there they are. Go watch all the other videos. But my wrongful termination by your company, ladies and gentlemen, was not very, very smart. So the one thing I'm going to ask Uber, one of my main accounts for SL40, I would ask for immediate reinstatement. That's one of my conditions, right? And when I asked Uber yesterday, why did you terminate me? I said, you've sent me a lot of emails. You've had all these specialized teams. You've had the Philippines keep me in the hamster wheel. I told them everything. I said, why did you deactivate my one main account? Right? They haven't gone and deactivated my fleet account. Why? Because there are so many people making them so much money each week. But why did you go and deactivate my referral account? I'll tell you why. I had so many referrals in the pipeline, hundreds of thousands of dollars, which they did not want to pay out. So it's much, much easier, right, to find an excuse to deactivate a driver and then not have to pay out hundreds of thousands of dollars. A rideshare report up in San Francisco is owed more than $1 million. I've seen all the evidence, and he is a guy who wants to collaborate. So Uber, if we drag you into superior court, if we start filing the depositions, if we start sending you requests for admissions, right? if we start sending you interrogatories, you're going to have to supply us with the documents. And the one thing we have is a ton of subpoena power. We can subpoena every national and international referral. We can show exactly that you are engaging in bait and switch, taking $700 referrals, switching them to $100 referrals in other accounts, so you save $600 each time. Why are you doing this? Because you are so desperate. You're so desperate to bring your losses down, right? You said you would be profitable by the end of 2020. I don't believe that'll happen, really. And you can cut as many hubs as you wish, right? You can start charging for inspections as you have. You can stop cleaning those toilets, they're overflowing with shit, right? You're not going to save up enough money to get yourself out of a $600 million hole. How do you get yourself out of a $600 million hole? You fire your CEO, you bring in a competent leader that is finally willing to talk to its workforce, 3 million drivers strong. You are so disconnected, right? All the chains have been broken. You have no respect. You have no dignity from the driver anymore. You are just pushing them into the ground, and your CEO sits at his desk like an ostrich with his head buried under the sand. I don't want to hear the evil, I don't want to see the evil, and I don't want to respond to the evil. I do not want to address thousands and thousands and hundreds and thousands of unhappy, frustrated drivers that deserve better, Your Honor. And my evidence, as I've shown you in all those letters, shows you the current state of affairs. All my letters are date stamped and time stamped. Thank you. Now, let's carry on. If I were to make the argument that these on Friday, and guess what? These attorneys don't want to go to court with me on Friday. They've made that clear. They said we can resolve this before Friday. So in the spirit of me talking to you right now, your documents are arriving at your doorstep to the attention of this heavy hitter attorney that I spoke to yesterday. Read them, look at the dollar figures, and understand the biggest punishment you're going to receive from the courts are the punitive damages, because of the ways you have implemented new strategies to steal monies from drivers and then make them so angry, so revengeful, that they would reach out and make death threats, right? Mark my words, I have been in court where judges have slapped down the defendants with millions and millions of dollars in punitive damages that, there might have been $500,000-$600,000 in actual damages and another $2 million in punitive damages. What are punitive damages? That's when the judge really decides to make a point and say, company, stop, don't engage with that crap, because next time around, it's going to be 20 million, right? So this information needs to see the light of day. These subpoenas will have to be answered, right? And it's going to get extremely embarrassing for Uber once all this stuff comes up. Now, granted, they're in many class action lawsuits against Lyft and Riordan, right, et cetera, and people are jumping in there on the AB5 issue, saying, hey, we should be making minimum of $12 an hour. You now owe me more money, and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of drivers are jumping in. Uber knows my channel is a laundry machine for bringing in and educating drivers. I have and will continue to show the driver how to file small claims court, to the point I'll show them exactly which documents, how to file it, what the fees are, breakdown by state, etc. My channel has been empowering thousands and thousands and thousands of drivers to take the fight, even the small fight, even the $300 fight, or even the $700 fight, or even the James Campbell fight, or even the $7,500 settlement fight. All these little numbers add up to millions and millions and millions of damages that Uber has to pay out. Why? Because we are empowering the little guy. We are empowering the driver. that you are disrespecting, right? So having me working against Uber and Lyft is not a good thing. Stealing my money, taking my money like you did, trash talking that driver, which Travis Kalanick did, right, was not a smart idea. And we will hammer you, and we will hurt you, and we will expose your ego and your image in the media and the social media. We're good at it. We'll continue doing it. It's my job to draw you in to the lion's den. I've already done that. You're already through the gates. You haven't engaged in the battle with me yet, right? So what I said earlier on, educating the driver of their rights, right? Educating the driver about the incompetence of Uber and Lyft handling in coronavirus, and that they have to take this corona battle into their own hands and arm themselves, because the CEOs are not giving them the ammunition that they need, or not giving them the money that they need. Again and again and again and again, the drivers have to take the fights into their own hands on the streets, right? My friends at Uber, attorneys that are listening in, we know how to fight the street battle. We know how to activate the masses, and you do not want the masses working against you. It's starting already, where we're setting minimums, and it's hurting you, your bottom line. You're losing millions and millions of dollars because of pissed off people like me that you've stolen your money. And I said to the attorney yesterday, I want to switch shoes with you, right? You go out there and work all of 2020. You work your heart out. You're at this hearing, that hearing, you're writing motions, you're burning the midnight oil, you're doing everything in your capacity as an attorney for this company, for this brand that you are proud of, right? And you've worked 12 months straight. You've given everything, right? Like I have. I've given everything. And then the company turns around and says, look, your annual salary is $250,000, but we decided to cut you off in February. We decided to cut you off in February and change the laws a little bit. We cannot, unfortunately, pay you for March to December 2020. So right now, your check is $40,000. The guy says, what the fuck? Where are my $210,000 that you owe me? Well, there are new laws that we introduced. We cannot pay you out. And I said to the attorney, it's pretty much what your company decided to do, to wipe out millions and millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of marketing dollars by changing the laws overnight. Well, guess what? The judge knows that there are laws that are called grandfather laws, right? The judge knows you can't just simply eradicate and erase all of that money. You think you can because you're hiding behind arbitration clauses, right? You think drivers are too stupid and will not bring the fight to you. But the more we educate, the wiser we get, the stronger we stick together, we start drawing you in to the lion's den. And I ask you, is it worth it, Uber, for a few hundred employees to come into the lion's den with over 3 million drivers? I don't think so. I don't think it's a good idea. So that being said, take that into consideration when you call me on Wednesday, when you've reviewed my papers. If you want the strikes and protests to end, if you want my videos to start sounding differently, if you don't want me to expose all your weaknesses, if you really want to start working with drivers, show the drivers that you want to start working with them, start cleaning up their toilets at airports, start treating drivers like decent human beings. Don't sit in your attorney bubble. Don't sit in your little ego bubble, just with the phone with investors. Oh my God, today the stock price went down and down and down. Actually, do something. Do something constructive and start leading. And I'm sorry to say, hope you're listening. Actually, do something. Do something constructive and start leading. And I'm sorry to say, hope you're listening. 2020, and what you're doing right now is not working. Your stock's at $27, right? So the big investors need to decide and make, like I said, make some big decisions here. The attorneys will keep on putting out fires. That's what they get paid for. They'll put out fire after fire after fire. That's why they called me yesterday and said, let's mediate, let's talk, let's get this resolved. Dear attorney, Again, thank you for the conversation yesterday. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak. Thank you for allowing me to convey the messages and the feelings of those hundreds of thousands of drivers out there. Understand one thing, dear Uber. I didn't make 9,200 videos for nothing. It took me a long, long time. I pay overseas people. I pay a full dedicated team here of 6 people in LA. I pay people overseas in India. 9,200 videos. I put a lot of sweat, effort, and blood into that to help you build your company, to help educate other drivers how to refer drivers and continue to build your company, to build the walls, to build the infrastructure, to build the platforms, to put the roof on, to put the tiles on, to put the chimneys on, to put the framing in, to put the doors in, to put the tiles in, to put the kitchen in, to put the plumbing in, to put the sanitation in, right? We helped you pay for all of those fees. Because just as fast as we built your house, we can break those walls down. It's very, very easy to break the walls down. How do we do that? We just keep the public involved. We keep the public involved on your incompetence to handle coronavirus, right? 24 hours ago, Uber comes out and admits they didn't share. I called them on this 2 weeks ago. Why are you not sharing this information with drivers and riders? You know where they are going. You can go back and listen to my videos, right? Why didn't you share this important information of this driver and all the other riders? Why did you let multiple people get infected? Why did you let this driver end up in a New York hospital? Is because you refused to speak up. You refused to warn. You were only caring about your bottom line and your dollars. You weren't caring about that New York driver's life, and we pray for him. We hope he makes it through, and we hope all that the infected riders that took trips with him, we hope they pull through. And we still don't know the stories of the many other 100 drivers and thousands of riders out there. Why? Because you were incompetent and you did not share with the public. You did not share with the riders what you knew, right? Money, at the end of the day, was too important to you. But here we are, with all the media hammering, with all the TV outlets and that going against you, you're sitting at a stock price of $27. And why? It's because you have an incompetent leader, right? Now, maybe a little bit of a change of a direction here, but I'm proud to announce to my family that I'm a CEO of a new company, of a co-op, right? And you can look up what a co-op is. I'm proud to announce that yesterday we filed for $25 million worth of grants in California, where California said, we will assist you as a co-op to build your company. Why do you think California wants to assist a co-op like us with potential $25 million just in the state of California alone? Because they know they need new leaders, they need companies that are built by drivers so that the big bullies can't boss the drivers around and they cannot boss the state around. Look it up, my friends. I can share that video with you. There are grants of $25 million, which we have applied for to build out our infrastructure, our cooperative driver infrastructure for local driver in California alone. Uber and Lyft, listen up. We're coming. We may be small, but we're coming. Bolt may be big in Europe, but they're coming to United States. And I invite in all those players. I want all of those ride-share companies to work, and I will assist them. I will recruit for them. I will educate the drivers what they have to offer, because what Uber and Lyft have to offer us right now is atrocious. We can all agree on that, right? Had to get that out of the way. Now, my goodwill, the friendly Torsten, the mediating Torsten, the arbitrating Torsten is available to you until Thursday afternoon. And I want to see numbers. I want to see an email. I want to see a letter of intent. And maybe then we can finalize a deal. I'll fly up to San Francisco. I'll sign the papers. I'll come up. I'll drive up, right? Unlike Uber, who's unwilling to come down to my case hearing because they say, well, we can't fly. It's too dangerous. They want to buy time. They're scared. So in the spirit of these two words that I have behind me, let's use this opportunity, Uber. Obviously, you're going to settle up with me because, look, I have deadlines. My deadline is Thursday, 5 p.m. You've just heard it, right? But it's truly, truly, truly not worth going beyond Friday, because now that I have your attention, I will use it, right? To the attorneys that are dealing with me yesterday, to the paralegal, as you maybe change jobs one day, nobody will hire you if you are not a skilled mediator who knows how to minimize damages. Nobody will hire you when your name is all over the internet, right? A thing that I'm good at doing. And those attorneys that try to take me on, ask Matthew Boghossian what happened to him. Not only did he pay me, right, but I ripped this guy apart in social media and his company and his law firm. He lost so many clients, right? And Uber, beware. You don't want to lose more riders, you know. And like I said, I completely understand that you sacrificed many late nights to get your law degree and that you spent many, many hours in those cold libraries getting ready for your exams, your finals. But drivers are far, far more hardcore and have seen way worse times and have been in accidents and are picking up people that are puking and are saving lives because they're dragging drunk people home, right? You got to, in life, put everything into perspective. What we do for you, how we shovel in the money, how we wheelbarrow in the money, never, ever forget that if you at Uber are watching right now, right? And, you know, have attorneys ever felt real hardship? You know, have you ever been in a life and death situation? I'm telling you what, growing up in South Africa, I have been that close to life and death on many, many occasions. And having been there, right, at that point, right, where we got ambushed, for example, I don't want to go too deep here, but by 200 people with AK-47s and machetes that just wanted to kill us, and maybe 10 people strong. We had to make fast, quick, and brave decisions, right? And it's probably the closest I've ever come to death, right? And having been at that point, that low point of my life in that situation, lying on the floor, right, doing everything I could for few minutes to come out alive, I can tell you there is nothing, my friends, I'm afraid of, right? I've been there already. I've been to the lowest of the low. I have looked and stared and faced death straight in the eye with AK-47 bullets flying over me, people with machetes trying to break down the doors. I've been there, right? So if you think you're going to intimidate me, if you think you're going to bully me, if you think you're going to threaten me, think again, right? I'm bulletproof, my friends. So here, another thing that I want to talk about briefly, you know, the confidence of the public is really in our hands, in the driver's hands. The confidence of the public in the stock of Uber is really in our social media hands, right? So drivers fulfill the purpose of a safe trip, bringing person from A to B, right? People like me, we fulfill a purpose of resonating and amplifying your voice through social media to push for change, right? We both do our bit within the rideshare community, right? Rideshare 411, another YouTuber who's here right now, you know, these, and I know Uber is watching this. I know that this Uber attorney is watching this. These are the people you want to treat well, right? You want to treat the rideshare 411s of the world well, right? Why? Because they're out there educating the people about your company. They're bringing you in new riders, they're bringing you in new drivers, right? And you want to make the effort to reach across the aisle to the Scotts, to the Eds, to the Emads, to the Allens, to the David Phams, to the Sandy Mans, right? And say, you know what, thank you for everything that you've done for us. We need to honor your work and we need to pay you better. I addressed pay big time yesterday. I would not let them off the hook. And I said to them, even if you guys have to introduce a damn coronavirus fee, right? Because you have all these thousands of fees. Why don't you introduce a fee, right, that goes towards the drivers or goes towards a fund for the drivers to keep them safe in these times, that you actually start showing that you care, right? And I hammered them and I hammered them and I hammered them. And you guys may think I didn't get through to this guy, but based on the back and forth, and this guy was a great, great, great communicator. I believe that's also one of the skill sets that I've inherited from my father, being as diplomatic as possible and as kind as possible and understanding as possible, up to the point where they want to listen or they don't want to listen. And that is the decision that they have to make by Thursday, 5 p.m. Now that I have their attention, which I know I do, they've admitted it, we can decide how we walk into the future. I am more than willing to change my tone of voice. I am more than willing to come to the table. Only Uber can decide how that future looks with me, right? My friends, we are an army of 3 million drivers. Uber and Lyft, don't come into the lion's den with us. I warn you. Now, I would like to address the room. Gift from Artemis, united we stand. You can see we're very, very united. And ladies and gentlemen, if you followed this feed from the very beginning, if you haven't, if you've come late in, please listen to my opening statement. I play a recording of a real driver from Rhode Island who is willing to fly across to California because he so believes in what we are doing. He so believes that we are fighting for the drivers and we're getting somewhere. And he so believes that we are all Davids and we can take on Goliath. And please, let me tell you, you have the courage to do this. Alan Mills says, met a guy in my Lyft who knew you, wanted to buy car for $350,000. He's a producer and owns strip bars and tow trucks. He goes by the name Beat. I would like to meet the Beat. Tell him, give him my phone number. You know, I've met, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, so you know and understand me better, I've met with drug dealers. I've met with police commanders. I've met with the head of military. I've met with generals. I've met with politicians. I will sit down and have the conversation with a janitor for hours. I've met friends who I helped start a janitor company in San Bernardino. I will mix it up with anyone and everyone, right? Because no one is superior than your neighbor, than the person next to you. We are all equal, my friends. We're all in the same boat, on the same boat called planet Earth, spinning around in the galaxy. Nothing. Your shit does not stink better than my shit. Her shit doesn't stink better than her shit. We're all equal, my friends. So once we start to understand that language, once we start to understand that we need to talk and treat each other with respect, dignity, and take care of each other instead of dividing each other and fighting each other, we will be so much better in our health. In every single way we'll show up in life, we will be happy, joyful, and less stressful. Sandyman says, grifters. David Pham says, let me know when you're coming to San Francisco. I want to shake your hand. I'll shake your hand, and you don't even have to bring the hand sanitizer. I'm not infected. Love you, David. Appreciate it. James Campbell, did you take Uber to court yesterday? No. I had a great conversation, James Campbell, with the main attorney from Uber yesterday for more than an hour, and it was great. It was really good. I do feel like he listened. Pedro, my friend, Commander Torsten, I'm your soldier, ready for deployment, 24/7. As a former Army boy who served in the South African Defence Force, SADF, for 2 years. I appreciate you, my friend. William, from the beginning, Mark Fowdy, Tony West, not going to reveal the names. Cannot. Promised the gentleman not to reveal his name. And I have his phone number, right? It's a 415 number. And I promised he begged me, didn't beg me, that's wrong. I would be saying a falsehood. He asked me kindly not to reveal his phone number. And I said, I won't. So look, and I would blow every bit of mediating, every bit of arbitrating if I went across that line and disrespected him. And to show some level of respect to the one lady who felt threatened by my videos, you can go back. I took them down. I'm not talking crap here. I took them down. And the response that I got from the main attorney was, maybe I have it here. Thank you for taking the video mentioning the lady's name down, sent at 3:27 p.m. yesterday. Dennis Torres in the house. He's a legend. He's a fighter. He knows we're the same blood, my friend. We're the same blood. I want to go out and party and go for some drinks with Dennis sometime in the LBC. Good guy. I know that, man. I know it when I feel it in my heart, when I'm standing next to someone and I can feel the energy. That's the warrior, not WOWARR, warrior. You know, like wouldn't you call, Dennis, would you agree that Manny Pacquiao is a warrior, is a fierce warrior? Wouldn't you agree with me on that one? William Stewart III in the house. Phoenix, Arizona in the house. You know what? I got to get to Arizona. I lived in Scottsdale for like 3 months, got a business off the ground and sold it. You know, traveling up the 101. They have a 101 in Phoenix and they have a 101 right here in Calabasas. So that's what I always remember. But yeah, I used to Scottsdale, those clubs, restaurants, those resorts. Those are all my stomping grounds for a while. Harwinder Singh. Love you back, my friend. Love you back. Dennis Torres. Yes, indeed. MW, keeping names secret, removing videos over a butthurt Uber lawyers. What's up with that? Maybe something you can't quite relate to because you're not in the thick of it. You're not in the discussions. And I do keep names secret because I've promised the gentleman yesterday that we would mediate and reach an agreement before Friday. Friday is my big court hearing. I don't think that these people want to fly down. They want to get this over and done with. And I do believe they want to tone me down, right? Which is fine. I can tone it down. But as long as you've stolen my money, as long as you've taken my money, I will get every dollar back 1,000-fold. I'll guarantee you that, right? It'll cost you. Anyway, I'm not going to even go into it because I just understand and that in the spirit of these discussions, I cannot mention the gentleman's name. Mark Faudio, MW, it's called respect. I thank you very much. Torsten has got it and the man of his word. I respect this gentleman. And I know he's watching this video, will watch it tonight, or will be notified about this video. And that's what it boils down to. I have respect, right? And when a gentleman asks me not to reveal his details and his phone, which I could easily do, right? I could publicize it like that, right? I'm not going to stoop. I'm not going to stoop that low. Sorry. Roy Watkus, respect formality. This is just formality, you know, and it's maybe you guys may think it's the most awkward way of mediating, but it's my platform where I feel comfortable with. I feel comfortable on the phone, but I feel comfortable engaging my audience and keeping my audience up to speed. Why? It's because this audience, this channel, along with the other channels, That's what's built our power. And when they acknowledge to me, they know me, they watch me, and they know I'm angry. Good. I will take that all day long. That's all I can say, MW. I will take that compliment all day long. It's obviously working. Vegas Rideshare 888. Hello from Vegas. We've got a lot of Vegas in the house. We've got Mark Roughton in the house. We've got Vegas Rideshare in the house. We've got Roy Watkus. We always seem to have a lot of strong representation from Vegas at this time of the day, particularly. Why? Because generally speaking, in the middle of the afternoon, there is probably not all too much going on, right? It tends to get busy in the mornings, and it tends to get busy throughout the entire night in Vegas. And that's when, people on different time shifts, people on different work shifts, depending on your city, right? And we hustle when we need to hustle. So I totally understand when the Vegas drivers hustle, right? And it's really nice that they hang out with me maybe in their quiet times. Patrick Sargent says, go get them. And let's see, so what do you say? I think I missed it. Where did it say that? Patrick Sargent, I don't know why YouTube retracted your message. I didn't do that. If you could say it again, I hope it goes through, but maybe there was a word that YouTube did not like. Scott Tucker says, I'm glad I never referred Uber and Lyft any drivers. I've seen their bull when they never gave me my sign-on bonus and did not give me the right warning bonuses. Exactly. That's like the biggest part of my case, and my argument is that you have misled these people. And it's very, very easy to back that up with all the letters, text messages, etc., when you get to see how the drivers feel about these misleading bonuses. I don't think it'll be difficult to show a judge a few letters and for him or her to understand where the driver is coming from and what the company is doing. PGH Chris Rideshare VW says, Pittsburgh in the house. You're a beast. Good luck. I'm in lion mode, my friends. I'm ready. I'm ready to eat meat. I really am, right? That's just it, I remember when I went into my divorce case, and I have all the respect in the world for the mother of my children, my former wife. Don't really speak badly about her at all. But when these attorneys of hers started dictating and started bullying and sat me down and basically said, you listen to us, you shut up, this is the way it is. A room full of attorneys. So I just said, are you done? I said, hey, I came here in the spirit of mediation. Obviously, you don't want to mediate. You want to make money. And I said, I'm going to leave you with one last thought. And like the attorneys, I probably had 7 of them in the room, their boardroom, put me on the one end, surround me, interrogate me, blah, 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 tell me the way it's going to go down. I said, listen, I want to paint you a picture. There's a lion, fully grown male lion in his prime, well-fed, all the energy in the world. And then all around him are his little cubs, his little lion cubs. Then you 7 idiots, all of you pointing at them, you 7 idiots march in. You inject me with a dart, you tranquilize me, and you steal my cubs. At some point, I'm going to wake up, because the tranquilizer is going to wear off. And then you have one mean, motherfucking ferocious lion who's out there looking for his kids and will fight and tear you apart. And all I have got to say, if you ever want to get a testimonial from Peggy Jovel, Matthew Bogosian, or Lisa Schultz, or some other attorneys that were in that room, they will testify that I ripped them apart in the lion's den. And it felt marvelous. To the point that the judge in my case, when it was all over, And they just did not want to go to trial because there was so much damaging information against these individuals. The judge said to me, off the record, Mr. Kunert, have you ever thought of becoming an attorney? And I said, to Your Honor, after all these years listening to attorneys, seeing how attorneys work, seeing how attorneys remain in their ego and like to fight and battle and make money, it's the last job I would ever want. I wouldn't be happy in that arena. So, not to go too deep there, but James Campbell, a fellow Pittsburgher, is in the house. That's excellent. We're going to wrap this up at the 1 hour mark. A lot of food for thought for those guys up in San Francisco. Hope you followed this live feed. Let's talk real numbers tomorrow. Let's get some paperwork. If need be, just invite me up. I'll be in San Francisco in hours. Let's get the signatures. Let's tie this puppy up. Let's put this baby to bed, right? And let's carry on with business. I have no problem keeping on recruiting for the company because I really know my game. I know how to teach the drivers how to make money. If they don't want me to continue to recruit, I have no problem keeping on recruiting for Lyft, other companies, and mainly for the co-op, building that out. So as long as the money, as long as the dollar keeps on flowing. So Richard, you have yourself a marvelous day. Thank you, my friend. Mark Roughton, I appreciate you. Scott, I appreciate you. MW, I appreciate you. PGH, Chris, I appreciate you. Thank you. If we can maybe just drive the 40 likes up to about 45, I'd be extremely happy. We're already on 41. You just push it up to about 45. Got a call from Lake Geneva in Wisconsin. I'll get back to you, not right now. Odd 46. Ukaman, thank you for those screenshots. I appreciate you. James Campbell, I appreciate you. My phone is going off the hook here. I think people are trying to get hold of me, so I got to get back to regular business and to being a dad. I've got a lot of commitments to my children this afternoon. Dennis Torres, be well down there. We're going to go out, my friend. In fact, Dennis, I might get some tickets for some good boxing fights. I get a lot of them that come my way and through some of the big promoters. Maybe we need to go and watch a boxing fight together in Vegas someday. And we join up with a couple of the other Vegas crowd. William Stewart, thank you. James, thank you. I'm going to take a picture. This is how I would like to leave in the spirit of mediating. This is how we get resolved. This is how we get things resolved in my live feed. Through positivity, love, education, working together, standing together, driving together, and having each other's backs. I love you all, and thank you for listening. Have a good one, my friends. Appreciate you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone.